My aunt died and I was given the choice by my boss to attend her funeral or be fired. My aunt died a few weeks ago. I had a part-time job, 20 hours per week, on top of my regular job. When I told my part-time job I wasn't coming in and why, my boss told me to choose my priority, but if it wasn't my job, I'd be terminated. I told him to terminate me, threw my smock at him, and walked out. The line of customers in line thought it was a joke until I really left. Upon my return home, I realized I had at least 20 text messages and a few voicemail messages asking me to come back. I responded to one stating I chose my priority and it wasn't him. It was probably funnier to me in person, but I thought I'd share. I worked at a fancy restaurant once. When I was hired, I told them I would be in a wedding party over the summer and needed off. Fast forward to that weekend. He told me to work it or never come back. I was in the wedding, not a guest. Quit on the spot after reminding him what he agreed to when I was hired. Owners don't care. Reminds me of a coworker whose 5-month-old kid was hospitalized BC of shaken baby. Abuser is in jail for at least 2 more years and kid is 5 years old and healthy. Our job told her she had to prioritize work over going to the hospital while her child had brain surgery. Baby ended up not needing it, thank God. But she left on the spot and I left shortly after. And I heard a few other parents who knew about the situation left too. Absolutely disgusting. How could anyone with a conscience say something like that? You will find another job. You can't attend her funeral twice. I'll fight your boss. If your business can't run without a part-time employee for a day or two, that employee is highly underpaid. A friend of mine worked part-time at an escape room place last summer. She had to drive her husband to the ER due to chest pains. My friend texted her boss and let her know that she couldn't make it in because she was with her husband at the ER. Her boss responded that she needed to come in and have someone else go to the ER with her husband, because they were short-staffed. My friend quit on the spot. Boss never thought to think that maybe her own attitude may be a reason for why they were short-staffed. Telling him you chose your priority was the perfect response. There's really nothing else to say unless you want to tell him he faffo just to rub it in. Now make it public in your area what this douche did. If it's a nationwide chain, make it public to the world. Your title had me confused. I thought he was forcing you to attend the funeral and you didn't want to. The real story is actually much worse. Get fired. Collect unemployment. I didn't realize I was so critical to your operation. Of course I'll come back. Right after we discuss my raise. I do not understand these stupid companies that think they can pay next to nothing and still be a priority in people's lives. They want slaves. They deserve to have no employees. The only reasonable way to force someone to work when they have life things is to offer them so much money they can't decide which thing they'd rather do. Not threaten someone with firing. Too many people in the comments are making huge mistakes. When your boss gives you an ultimatum you don't plan to follow, don't quit. Force them to follow through. That way you get unemployment too. When you quit it's a benefit to them since it's of your own volition. The gall to call, text 20x after being called on your bluff. These people really think the power to fire makes them kings. Until they have to keep their own business afloat without us. That's how you do it. Why the hell would you go back to a place like that? Thumbs up. Show back up for your next scheduled shift after the funeral. Make them fire you, then collect unemployment. I worked for a boss who docked a coworker for missing a few days to attend to her daughter's funeral. Her daughter suffered from anorexia, which eventually proved fatal. My coworker had used up her vacation time supporting her during one crisis or another. I lost all respect for the boss at that time. Eventually, I became a manager for a few different companies and have violated company policy so that my people can get extra paid time off in a family crisis. I haven't been called out on it yet. Many years ago, I was a server at a fairly fancy restaurant. While my dad was suffering from liver failure. He's fine now. At the last minute, something came up, and I needed to drive to the hospital my dad was at in a nearby town. I called my floor manager that morning to let them know what happened. And he told it was good and take care of my dad. Fast forward to my next scheduled shift. I showed up and the owner, head chef, looked at me like I had the plague and asked me what I was doing since he had fired me for no call no showing. I told him I had gotten approval from the floor manager and thought we were okay. He screamed at me, "Your personal life is not my problem." Quote, "Fuck that restaurant, glad it didn't even survive to see COVID." When I was born, my father was given the option of seeing me at the hospital or losing his job. My father chose me. The company he worked for, maybe 10 people, collapsed months later because my father was a specialist in a small community. Not easily replaced. The stupefying shock of narcissists being woken up from the belief that they alone exist is a beautiful thing and one I also relish. Fuck around status, found out.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.